So here we're now going to talk about the INTP black hole. What happens when the INTP is in the INTP black hole is that instead of this being a pure function, which serves introverted thinking in the proper manner, everything comes in, and instead of being filtered by TI only to, correctly, everything coming in, only the things that the INTP has already established to be true are let in, so that they can then serve what the INTP has already decided. So, and the longer the INTP stays in the hole, the worse this gets. And because INTPs are often already not super aware of society or even give a shit, and are not very good at picking up societal cues from friends, they have FE all the way over here. FE is what tells you, reads the temperature of a room, tells you how people are feeling about you. Oddly, ENTPs with FE as the third function, although maybe at first they might not be very good at this, they get really good at this. I would say, at least I'm to the point, I've developed my feeling. I've got FI like a freaking crazy thing. It's the damn broke. I have FI all over the place. Phi, Phi, whatever. We're not talking about that, though. So INTPs are not very good at telling what other people think about them. And also not very good at giving a shit either. But when they are stuck in their black hole, they can think that the people around are thinking that they're right. So because everything is existing, everything that's coming into the INTP, they will only look for information that supports their theory. They will only look at information that supports their worldview, or whatever it is. And if they get other information that goes against it, when they're in the black hole, they will ignore it. They won't even see it. Because there is no room in the INTP's very carefully built and fabricated and and planned out on a big freaking blueprint, and like threaded and stapled, and then the staples come out and they redo it with thread. There is no room for anything that goes against what their theory is when they're in the black hole. So they will steadfastly and stubbornly hold that wall, and it's delusional. That's the problem. It turns into delusion. And it's almost like an INFP, it's almost like a freaking, you crazy feelers that I love so much. You crazy intuitive feelers that I adore just as much. Because INFPs will go off into their la-la land, and they'll make it up in their head, and it's just like this fantasy, and the fantasy's so much better than reality. That's pretty much what an INFP, or an INTP turns into. They turn into a thinking INFP. They go, and whatever it is they think, they just all of a sudden it's going on in their head only. Other people's reactions, everybody else's feelings. It's almost like they just have concocted this whole world and their own place in it. They become very cocky. They become very, they think they're martyrs. INFPs do that too. They almost think they're either martyrs or they think that they're being generous, and they think that they're being altruistic, but they're really being extremely self-righteous. And there's nothing that you can do about it. They have to somehow see it themselves, and I don't really know. I mean, once they've gone down, and I'm talking, this can take years to happen with the black hole buildup, and if it goes unchecked and unchecked and unchecked, it doesn't get better on its own. It gets worse, and it really sucks. They will just completely, the person that you used to be able to talk about anything with, always bring up whatever, they will suddenly go feeler on you. Okay? They will start being passive-aggressive. They will do door slams. They will say mean things where they never did before, where you could sit and have an adult conversation and respect each other's opinions and love each other at the end of the day. Straight up feeler on you. Straight up manipulative, shit-talking, things that you would never expect from your INTP best friend, that had never occurred in your life before, that you thought knew you better than that, and that you thought you knew better than that. But the thing is, you love them anyway, and you miss them all the time. So, I'm making this because I miss my INTP best friend. And I'm not going to get into it any further than that. I'm sure she doesn't watch any of this anyway. And there's nothing I can do about it, I just hope that, I just hope my INTP best friend comes back someday. If she doesn't, she doesn't. If she's happy where she is, she's happy where she is, you know, but I miss her all the time. And I wish she would stop just letting her extroverted intuition, I wish she'd stop only letting in the information that supports her preconstructed everything that she thinks, and consider for a second that all of that, she may just have to bulldoze it the fuck down and start over. Because maybe who she was when she started out was pretty fucking awesome. That's all. So, if anybody has any clues for me on how to get an INTP out of their hole, maybe you can leave them in the comments, because I'm not going to reach out to her. I can't. Not at this point. But if she happens to stumble across this video someday, maybe you could leave, if you know what I'm talking about, maybe you could leave a comment to help an INTP come out of her black hole. And remember that, you know, she still has a best friend that loves her. That's all. That's why I was drinking wine, or trying to. Because it's an emotional thing for me, and I don't want to cry, and I kind of feel like I'm going to. Okay. I will end now. So, anyway, I still love you INTPs. I still love the INTP I'm talking about. But I like to hear other people's stories. Or at least ways to solve it, because that's what we NTs do, right? We are problem solvers. But sometimes you have to be like hands off, and that's where I am right now. But it's still nice to relate. Thanks.